Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason here at New Dimensions, Crystals, and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas. And today's report is for February the 18th, 2026 through February the 24th, 2026. And as usual, we start with the closest star in the star report, the sun. And the sun has been quiet, not a lot of solar flaring, none of it Earth facing. And we should be experiencing over the next couple of days a coronal hole stream. Should be pretty minor. It's not that big of a coronal hole stream, and so when the coronal hole stream hits, it causes a little compression. So sometimes you might feel sluggish, a little bit heavy. And of course, that compression also works with the crust. So sometimes there's an uptick in earthquakes. So if you are in those kinds of areas where earthquakes happen, pay attention. Also, by the weekend, so over the next couple of days, that stream should hit. But by the weekend, we should have another coronal hole Earth facing. That just causes another magnetic lock. And then, of course, that stream will take a couple of days to get here. From that, after it turns in, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. So that squeezing with all the other things that are happening on the planet and all the alignments is really going to be sort of squeezing out everything that doesn't need to be taken into this new Chinese New Year, right? So things begin in spring. So that's why we're sort of going with that sort of cosmic understanding. And so all that stuff that's sort of happening the new year, the new sign, the new large and outer planetary alignments that are happening this week, all just sort of being squeezed. Everything that's not for this era that we're moving into is kind of being helped to be released by the sun. We are currently in the last day of Aquarius, depending on which astrology calendars you look at, but nonetheless, we're on the precipice. Tomorrow will be Pisces, and so Pisces is going to be associated metaphysically, physiologically is the word I was looking for, in the physical body with the alchemical correspondence stuff is our feet. And sort of metaphysically, it's sort of understood as the boundary, right? You want to think of the zodiac as a circle, and we're nearing the end of the circle, moving into the front part. A lot of times, this is best symbolized by the Ouroboros, which is a little snake that goes in, chases its tail or catches its tail and then moves in. So this is sort of like that boundary way into, what's it going to be when it goes into the new sign. So sort of pay attention to that. Yeah, Pisces energy is Pisces energy. Um, just sort of look for a lot of things that you experience as a boundary or a wall are actually things scraping off and don't need to come with you into this next era. So don't be overly alarmed when you sort of hit some roadblocks. At least over the next couple of days, Pisces, and then of course physically, if your feet are feeling tired or sore, there you go. That's where all the energy is going, right? And that's, if you want to think of boundary, right? You want to think if you jump and then you hit, right, the boundary of you, so you need to launch again. So it's just sort of a restart or a restart. I'm going to leave it at restart. Leads into the retrogrades, which is only one. It's still Jupiter, although Mercury pre-shadow is influencing us. So Jupiter is really about self-worth and abundance, and sort of dominated our consciousness, right? And so what I wrote, yeah. And that sort of idea of expanding our consciousness, and that our consciousness, our soul, can actually be leading. And then, of course, when we get into Mercury and retrograde, how we're going to communicate this new world that we are experiencing, that we're living in, when we may or may not have the terms, or the terms might change meaning, all kinds of fun stuff like that. So look for a little bit of wordplay in the public sphere over the next couple of weeks, definitely this week. Leads us into today, Wednesday. Yesterday was the solar eclipse, happened, I think, at 6 a.m. Here in the United States. So you probably missed it, and I don't think it was visible anyway. And so the eclipse doorway is a 2-week doorway, so we are currently in it because Solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse will be in, I think, just over 2 weeks. And really, just with everything that sort of happened with the new year, the eclipse, the new moon, the fire horse is really starting to pick up, and so fast growth and change is possible as the fire horse starts to gallop. Man, it's out of the gates. Now's the time to lock in changes, right? So all of these things that we decided we wanted to do, all of these resolutions we sort of made in the winter when they weren't really going to anchor themselves in any way, sort of like pick the ones that you're going to do and what you're going to believe about yourself in that expansive sort of Jupiter energy. Stop playing small, he says to himself. And that's okay. Thursday leads us into Thursday. The 19th is a 22 master day, right? It's just like the universe, when it wants us to shift, gives us all the tools. Right. And so that's a numerology thing, right? So when we understand 11s and 22s, those are master days. 11 is master understanding, 22 is master ability to build the thing that you understand or discern or intuit, receive from on high. And so it increases our ability to make strong choices, right? So we're not working out of hope, so we're working out of this is a choice I want to make and it's going to happen, right? So that's also that idea of manifestation and the heck, even was it the 1940s power positive thinking book. Um, trust. So the idea would be sort of trust, not out of intellect of like, oh, I figured it all out, but because the universe hasn't really failed you, right? So sort of like take that move, that leap. Leads us into Friday, the 20th. Is that only 20? Yeah. Feels like I skip a day. I always go back and look at my numbers. Like, is counting in my head and then out loud for a camera confusing? Sometimes. So Friday, the 20th, is the big shift that we're all waiting for. That if you're on any of the socials, like it's all the rage and everybody tells you exactly what's going to happen and what's going to collapse and who's going to be discovered and blah 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 blah. The alignment is important, right? So Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees Aries is really a new spiritual cycle, right? So you want to think that the Saturn Neptune thing happens every 36 years. So you want to think back to 1990. I was 11, 1990. So 1990, just sort of think of, probably have to look back in history, maybe even Google some major events that were happening in 1990. Is the last time the two planets aligned. The last time they were in Aries together, though, is going to be 330. Yeah, so 1703, 300 something. 1703 was the last time, right? So that was pre War of Independence for the United States. I believe Sir Isaac Newton was of import, right? So you want to think of what's the shift happening, right? So we had Newtonian physics at the time, right? That's gravity, and everything's sort of concrete and measurable by that time. And so you want to think that what's the era that's ending, right? Maybe the sort of last vestiges, look at me being like everybody else on the internet. The last vestiges of sort of Newtonian physics is sort of going away, right? We're really moving into the quantum and the plasmatic sort of understanding of the universe rather than just Newtonian. Like Newtonian did go away, right? Because all science is local, right? So if you can't see it, not determine, is it even there? Schrodinger. Oh my goodness, it's like a lot of science today. Stop it. Anyway, so Saturn and Neptune. Uh, yeah, big Friday. I don't say stay home, but like definitely a major energy shift. You're gonna not feel like doing the same old thing. So pay attention to that. Let's see, Isaac Newton. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Saturday the 21st is the next on the list of our week in predictions and projections of the energies happening to us that we can all feel. All right. And so, like, obviously, go look at your own chart and see what these planets and things and alignments are doing in your own chart. So, what house is in, what degree it's in. Like, it gets down to some really finite math, right? So, if you're not into like detail, it's probably a little overwhelming. That's why I give a report like, hey, here's what the group's going to be feeling. Anyway, back to the 21st, we're still going to be feeling that Saturn Neptune conjunction, and it's really an opening for intuition to illuminate beyond logic and the Newtonian physics, right? So you're still going to be sort of like, wait a second, what the hell is reality? And of course, there's been a lot of priming the pump for what the heck is reality over the last several weeks. So pay attention to sort of I'll say manipulation of that energy, but listen to your own gut over somebody else's logical analysis. If you're acting with you, if you want to like get into conspiracy stuff and get on the internet, um, and then you probably have to use that terminology and language to sort of interact with that. But just in your own life, like, hey, I'm getting in my car and I have this feeling. Don't wonder if it has anything to do with the uh, the social consciousness or information that might be across the internet. Yeah, that's my little cautionary tale for Saturday of the weekend. Anyway, moves us into Sunday, the 22nd of February. The fire energy is really going to be sort of, I don't say overwhelming, but it's that kind of overload sometimes to get too much caffeine, or as they say these days on the interwebs, overstimmed. Um, it, a lot of that energy is also going to be combining with Chiron and Mars, right? And so that influence, they're going to be influencing on Sunday, and they're going to kind of give you energy to experience the shift rather than observe the shift. Rather than like, look, I told you so kind of energy, like participate in it and see how it feels to live in that energy. So test drive it, don't wait and see. The divine is really a participatory thing, not something to observe from the outside of it. It always is something different when you're in it. Uh, we all know that. It's a good, better. You should have been there, right? You should have been there because the experience is beyond the words, and the group of people experiencing it uh, form some kind of symmetry where we're really like, oh, like in the inner it was just aligned and everybody was feeling it, right? You really can't experience that in words unless you're really good at remote viewing and empathizing, but then it's still not the exact same as being there. Anyway, move this to Monday, the 23rd of February. And the eclipse doorway, the fire horse, the planetary alignments, it's really going to be fanning your own inner fire, right? And so we want to think of inner fire as sort of like divine love, or the planetary body Venus. And so Venus and Jupiter on Monday are going to be giving you energy to really embody the archetype of the Fool Tarot, right? There's infinite possibilities and you really can't fail. And so it's that sort of leap of faith thing, like, hey man, stop waiting and just do it, just go. I won't say throw caution to the wind, but like, if it's I can act or not act and still be safe, choose action. Yeah. The universe has you, as the planets say. That's a weird tone in the background. Hopefully the mic filters that out. Anyway, it leads us to our last day of report, the 24th of February. That will make us halfway through the eclipse doorway, and you start to feel how the awakened you can function and thrive in this new planetary energy, right? So that sort of 7 days and like, the fuck is happening? Is this good? Is this bad? Is this me making it up in my head? Is this me hoping? Is this whatever? Right. So by about 7 days in, you'll start to like, hey, this is how I function in this energy. And then by knowing how you're functioning in that energy, you're going to notice how to thrive in that energy. Uh, Manifesting really becomes easier about halfway through this, right? Because we're manifesting this new spiritual alignment, this new era, this new everything, right? So most of us have existed, at least in adult life, who's probably watching me, since 1990, or right, or we're really close to adult life in 1990. And so that idea of here's how we saw the world, that energy of which that world was created is shifting because of the 36 years, but also the major cycle of all the way around of those two planets in Aries, right? Which Aries is like, let's do shit now. And you want to think Aries as the golden fleece, right? So don't want to call it the golden age. Might be overused in the public, but definitely, right, if we're in Aries and these two things are aligning, then it really is sort of seeking Aries, right? That higher mind stuff. So that sort of happened in 1703, took it about, if you think that the Declaration of Independence was sort of a marker of we figured it out, took about 70 years, right? So don't look for snapshot. Although, if we're leaving Newtonian physics, it can't happen in a flash. Anyway, fun stuff. Yeah, good week. Nothing to be concerned about, but something definitely to experience, right? If you're, I know, like I had an older brother in school, right? And I'm like, oh, when I get there, it's gonna be like this. But 2 years in, it already changed, right? So if you're sort of looking, or you are very comfortable with knowing how it's going to be, this might be a little bit of a disconcerting week, but all of it is for your good and for your expansion. So you could do even more, be even more, and go even further based on this energy, right? Sometimes it causes a little bit of accountability and responsibility of like, what would you like to create? And a lot of us live our lives, sometimes this guy, of responding to what's created and critiquing. So when you're creating something all brand new, and you've lived in the world of critiquing, sometimes you are hesitant on that creation because you expect critique. Don't expect critique or create despite critique. Anyway, that's my pulpit for the day. Enough sermonizing. I should be in shop all week, as far as I know. And so, if you want to come by, buy a rock, buy some incense. I thought I was going to have all my orders come in before I open in this week, but I've got a couple orders coming in with like new incenses and a couple bracelets and fun stuff like that. So if you want to come by and look for that, it's not here today, so don't come by today. You can come by today anyway. There's still the regular stuff that's here. And if you want to just see me, talk to me in person, you can come by. If you want to book an appointment, newdimensionscrystals.com. While we were looking at my button, not the camera. I'm sorry. Eye contact is nice when you talk to people. Anywho, a lot of stuff going on. Oh my god, I'm so different, even just from a day. This is a totally different report than last week. Anyway, I'm gonna find the stop button and tell y'all all until next time, everybody. Many blessings.